Ma'am, we are live now.
Thank you, Deepak. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are live from the YouTube handle of our incubator, the Startup Incubation and Innovation Center of IIT Kanpur. This is a specific session on demand on intellectual property rights and tech transfer. I am Vatsala Khare, lead of the mentorship program at the Incubation Center. Our speaker for today is a seasoned professional, Mr. Ravi Pandey. Mr. Pandey is a distinguished professional associated with the intellectual property rights domain at the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Kanpur. With a profound understanding of complexities surrounding intellectual property, he plays a pivotal role in guiding research scholars, faculty members, and startups in protecting and managing their intellectual assets. As an expert in IPR, Mr. Pandey is instrumental in ensuring that innovations emerging from IIT Kanpur are adequately protected under various intellectual property laws. His contributions include advising on patent filings, copyright issues, trademark registrations, and licensing agreements. He works closely with the Institute's legal and technology transfer teams to ensure that the intellectual property generated within the campus is not only protected but also effectively commercialized. Ravi is known for his strategic approach to IP management, emphasizing the importance of safeguarding innovations from the early stages of research and development. His efforts have led to successful patenting and commercialization of several cutting edge technologies developed at IIT Kanpur. He contributes significantly to our institute's reputation and has helped us to become a leading hub of innovation in India. Uh, Raviji, the session is yours now, and I request all the participants to please make the session more active by asking questions. In case if you wish to speak, kindly raise your hand. We will unmute you, and you can ask your question. If not, please text your questions in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vatsala, for this effective yet precise introduction that you gave. Uh, I was apprised by Vatsala. This session was planned around 20 days ago, and she was proactive enough to understand the need of a startup in terms of IP and tech transfer. So I formulated my presentation in a similar fashion, and I'm going to share my presentation, which talks about two paths which are available currently for startup. One is to outsource technology for licensing of IPRs. Second is to protect their own inventions, which are novel in nature in having inventive steps through maybe a patent application or maybe a design, trademark, or a copyright. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so the today's topic title is innovating the future, navigating IP and tech transfer for business growth. So, dear startup founders, my only message to you is to uh, minimize the competition in order to go across this cash flow burning path, wherein cash flows are very important in terms of surviving and reaching to a next level of funding or maybe better revenue or profit growth. So what one can do for minimizing the competition is to get monopoly through these intellectual property rights. So there are two paths currently available. I'm just showcasing few of the success stories that we have done here in IPSL and Technology Transfer Office.
Ravi, just a second. I think your voice is not audible.
Am I audible enough?
Participants, please text me because I have received from Himakar. Himakar, are we audible to you again?
Okay.
Now it's okay.
Now I will try to speak a bit louder.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I'm going to share, it's a success story that has happened here at IIT Kanpur, and the startup founders can correlate them in their success journey. What you see in front of your screen is a product launch ceremony which was done in May 2022. What you see in my hands, or the inventor Professor Jayant K. Singh's hand, is a soil testing device which has been developed at IIT Kanpur, protected by a portfolio of patent applications filed at IIT Kanpur, owned by IIT Kanpur. Now, we have the skills in terms of R&D and translational sciences. We felt a need that we need a partner in terms of marketing and commercializing the technology. So we reached out to several partners. Luckily, we found a startup founder, Rajat Vardhan, who happens to be having an extensive background in agriculture, has decided that he will take the lead in commercializing this technology. Why I'm sharing this success story with all the startup founders, the reason is, as I mentioned earlier, there are two options currently. One is to develop your own R&D, develop your own invention, protect it, go the longer path, reach the product phase, and then launch the product and generate revenues and cash flows. I mean, profits. The second path is basically to outsource the technology. How one can outsource is to reach out to academic institutes or research institutes and find out which are the relevant technologies that are at a threshold level. So the moment I say threshold, with technologies which are near to product phase. So this technology, the near infrared spectroscopy based soil testing device, was at the level of TRL7 to TRL8. Some validation needs to be testing and some refinement in terms of the morphological features was solicited. And that's how the entrepreneur Rajat Vardhan has took the initiative, and he requested for the license of the technology. So IIT Kanpur gave the license. The process is quite simple. It takes somewhere around 15 to 30 days of time. One can simply try to find out what is the value of the technology. Based on the value, the consideration, that means the upfront licensing fee and the royalties, are being decided. These considerations are not too stringent in nature, while on the contrary, they are more of supportive in nature. So the main objective of the Technology Transfer Office reaching out to industry partners or startup is to see the technology becoming a product and see the light of the day as a product, not to generate more and more revenues from the startup. So that was one of the objectives we reached out to startups, and this was one of the success stories. Since May 2020, so till date, around 600 units have been sold so far, and one can imagine the problem for the masses has been solved in such a manner wherein one field, agricultural field, if it needs soil testing, half kg of soil sample needs to be sent to the district soil testing laboratory, and it takes a fortnight for the entire testing and the soil health report card. Now, this device does the same testing in 90 seconds. We have done it at lab scale, but we needed a partner to reach out to the prospective customers, do the commercialization, do the marketing, do the proper process flow, make it more like a market-ready available product. Now, if Rajat, why not other startup founders? This is one of the options that they can look into while outsourcing the technology.
Ravi, we have a question. Can we take it up?
Sure.
Sure. Abhishek, please unmute Teja. Teja, yes, please. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Is someone speaking?
You are not audible, Teja.
I think Teja has raised the hands.
Yes.
But we are unable. If there is an issue, Teja, you can
Just type the
down,
question.
type the question. We will take it immediately because it saves some time.
Yes, sure. Please type. We are not able to hear you. Okay. Ravi, please.
We will continue.
Yes,
Meanwhile,
yes.
in case Teja sends any message, then we will take that question.
Sure. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, you're audible now.
Oh, thanks, Raviji. I think that's wonderful. I just have a couple of quick questions, if I may. So the first question is essentially on the ownership, right? Essentially, how does the ownership structure look like? Is the IITK happy to do, let's say, 100% TOT if possible with the appropriate commercials? That is my first question. And second question that I have is essentially on the overheads. So what we've seen is that when you want to really work with the academic institution, especially the government ones, the institute sort of takes close to 20% or 30% of the money as overhead in institute overheads, which is a bit higher. So how does the overhead structure look like if someone wants to, let's say, if I want to work with one professor, one researcher out of IIT Kanpur? These are my two questions.
Okay. So Teja, if I'm understanding your question correctly, then you are asking more on the collaborative research, less on the technology licensing or technology transfer, because you have mentioned about the overheads of a prospective research project. So let me answer the same question in a similar fashion. So you need to understand that the academic institutes are also dependent on donations, and to cater the needs of R&D or the captive infrastructure, the institute needs some R&D overheads.
Hmm.
In terms of answering your first question, what would be the ownership structure all about? So you need to understand there are two types of project. One is a sponsored research project, wherein the institute in general keeps the co-applicant status, or you can say 50% ownership of the prospective IPRs. That is number one. The second is a consultancy project, wherein the research is not in the form of tangible, and more like a advisory or consultancy. In general, for consultancy project, the sponsoring agency, that may be you, takes away the IP and keeps the entire ownership. That is a basic thumb rule difference. Although we had precedences wherein there were instances where even for the research projects, considering the ticket size, there were deviation in terms of IPR ownership. So you can take take this discussion forward. We have a dedicated MOU cell. First, you need to discuss this in length with the prospective project investigator. You need to apprise him that this is what you need to do and why it is important for you to keep the entire ownership with you, because you want to commercialize the technology. If you keep the half ownership, that would not serve the purpose, and that's why you're sponsoring this project. That is number one. The second part, sorry, you interrupted.
No, I'm just thanking you. Yes, second part, please. I mean, I certainly agree that essentially institute will have an overhead, but I'm just wondering, as a startup, let's say if you get some rebate, let's say 10%, 15% is that's okay, but I think that's a discussion for a different day. And one last quick question that I have is there any place, one short place where I can see everything that we can consume? Let's say you have IPs that are already there. Is there a place that I can, let's say, website or something that I can go and see, okay, these are all the things that they have, and this is something that they can consume right away?
What did they have? You are asking about the IPRs?
IP, like something that you've already made.
Okay, so I will share a link with all the startups, and on this link you can directly go and find it out, the comprehensive list of IPRs filed by IIT Kanpur and the number of IPRs available for licensing. The list is readily available. In case if you need further details, you can simply send an email to us or connect with us. We will facilitate further hand-holding support in getting the license from the institute.
Thank you, Raviji. Appreciate it very much.
You asked, there was second part of your question. In between this conversation, I literally forgot what was that.
Yeah, second part is largely around the overhead, institute overheads, but I think that's largely to some degree clear to me. Consultancy project maybe is different than an IP transfer. But some level of customization I think should be there in IP transfer. But I will work with the first team to see essentially how we can. I mean, if once the discussions are at that phase, then we can see how we can talk about overheads in the due course.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
So Teja has asked a question wherein he intends to sponsor a project to an academic institute, and he was concerned about the percentage of overheads being deducted from the gross fund of that project. So people like me who are literally unaware about overheads, let me elaborate that this is the administrative charge that is being administrative cost that is being charged by the academic institute in order to maintain the captive infrastructure and the other facilities being provided in a rationed manner to all the researchers. So that was his question. I will continue with the licensing part. That is one of the options for startups in case if they would like to outsource the technology. So here what you see, it's not only to the startups whom we reach out for licensing the technology, but we also reach out to established companies or industry partners. So what you see in front of your screen is a mid-sized company. The name of that company is Ambrain. A couple of years ago, we developed a technology, a watch, which can be used by visually impaired. To our surprise, it came out as a fact and a data that India is host to the highest number of visually impaired people in the world. And to give an exact figure, it comes out to be 1/3 of the global population of visually impaired resides in the country. So that was an alarming figure which we were ignorant about. Professor Siddharth Panda and his team from Department of Chemical Engineering and NC Flexi Center, they have took the initiative wherein they wanted to sustain the privacy issues with the visually impaired. Why to use a voice output based watch wherein you can push the button and get a time like it's 11:30 a.m. It's intuitive in nature. No one wants to let all the people in a hall know that I'm just trying to push a button and I'm interested in knowing the time. So they developed a watch wherein just one can simply put the finger across the dial of the watch and get to know what is the exact timing. That is number one objective. The number two was a challenge by the innovators to find it out. Why do we need a screen at all in a watch? So the answer is conventionally we were habitual of looking at the watch with our eyes, and that was a conventionally wrong method that we have been observing. So this was taken up as a challenge, and the inventors have decided let's keep all the smart features like heart rate, SpO2, and other alarming specifications or features that are generally available in a watch, and club all together and provide a smartwatch which can provide some haptic senses, and wherein even a visually impaired can understand exactly what is exact time, SpO2, and all these features. That too at a cost-effective price. So we reached all these things, the threshold requirement for any technology to be launched as a product or to be licensed to an industry partner, but we are not getting any commercializing partner. So we finally settled at one company. Thankfully, Ambrain accepted our request of taking this for the masses. And we are very soon, in a month or so, we are going to launch this watch in the market in Delhi. So why I have shared this presentation or this page is if Ambrain and Agronex can source the technology, why not you? That was one of the options. Even often startups ask this question, what was the special case with the startup who took this initiative or who has decided to let's go the route of licensing? Is it going to be very costly? The answer is no. Is it going to be very stringent? The answer is no. What types of support do the startups get from the academic institutes or the licensors? The answer is you get all the support in terms of sourcing the component, getting the details of the nuances of the technology, details like bill of material, the process flow, also how to scale up. So we may not have the expertise in terms of assembly line, but we have we ran the circle previously, so we know how the technology works. I just wanted to quote an example what we did in pandemic wave 2. We developed a PSA with a oxygen concentrator. We developed oxygen concentrator which was based on a PSA technology. We reached out to 6 startups. The question from those startups was, what is it that the institute is going to provide? The answer from our side was, we are going to provide the components, the technology, the hand-holding support, and the customers as well. Is there anything else that you need from our side? And that's how we proceeded ahead and manufactured somewhere around with a hand-holding support of 6,000 unit of oxygen concentrator. So that is the kind of hand-holding support one gets through the licensing. So one can always look out for sourcing the technology through any of the research institutes or academic institutes. I will again go back to the main crux of this presentation, navigating the IP and tech transfer for business growth. So let us understand the second option. When someone is not outsourcing the technology, and if you have developed a technology, you would like to protect it so that you keep the monopoly, you restrict your competitors from reverse engineering or imitating or copying your product and selling it in the market. So the answer is one needs to file a patent for that. Patent is nothing but one needs to have novelty, inventiveness, industrial applicability. All these 3 combinations are necessary to file a patent application. And what is not patentable, a list is given in section 3 of the Indian Patent Act. The moment someone is confused whether my invention is patentable or not, please go to Google, type section 3 of the Indian Patent Act, and you will get a list what is not patentable. For example, therapeutic effects or any process of treatment for human or animal, that is not patentable. So any perpetual motion machine where transformation of energy from one form or another is not happening, that is again non-patentable. So there is a list which is available. It is readily available. One can simply go through it and file a patent. In case one needs assistance or hand-holding support in filing a patent, we can do the same. The Government of India has provided a privilege wherein the official filing fee, a waiver of 80% or rebate of 80% on official filing fee is being provided to startups who are recognized by DPIIT. So this is a privilege that the startups get in terms of cost-effective IPR protections. Another question comes from the startup side, sir. What are the types of patent filing? The 2 options available is, one is provisional, one is complete. Now, what is the difference between a provisional? What is the difference between a complete? Now, I am a startup founder. I have an idea. I have been given a Nidhi Prayas, DST Nidhi Prayas fellowship for converting my idea to a prototype. But I'm skeptical what would be the final specifications in the next 12 months upon fabrication of that technology. Upon this skepticism, I'm also very much uncertain if someone copies my idea and files a patent. So in that situation, it is highly advisable to file a provisional patent application where the basic idea, the ideation phase that you have conceptualized gets protected through a provisional patent application filing. Now the next question is, sir, what if the specifications change in the next 12 months? So the answer is, you will get the opportunity to add those addendum specifications in the next 12 months and convert your provisional patent application into a complete patent application. So that is the basic difference why one needs to file a direct provisional or a direct complete. The another option is someone comes and says, I'm already at near to product phase and I have not filed any prior patent application, but I feel that someone can imitate my idea or invention. So in that case, wherein prospective additional experimental details are not expected, so one can simply go ahead and file a direct complete patent application. So this is the basic difference between a provisional and a complete. In case if someone finds any difficulty, we are here at the IPR cell. Please request your portfolio manager. They will certainly help you in reaching out to us. and we are here to help you in getting your inventions protected. Another question comes, can I file patent for all the invention? The answer is no. By default, US patent legislation is completely different than the legislation Indian Patent Act that is here in India. So the Indian Patent Act does not allow patent for software programs. So what one needs to do, how can I file a patent for a software? So here I have an example. This was filed as a patent application. So it was a computer-aided music training system. To elaborate this invention, one needs to understand the conventional process of teaching music or singing is that the protege reaches out to the mentor, and the mentor basically teaches couple of surs and tals. The protege comes back home or at his or her place, practices the sur and tal for next 7 to 10 days. So now in between this duration of 7 to 10 days, the protege may get deviated from the exact sur and tal. So what if there is a automated software which exactly tells the protege if you are practicing the right sur or tal or not? So that's how Professor Vipul Arora from Department of Electrical Engineering developed a computer-aided music training system. This system was nothing but a computer program. Now the question arises, sir, you have already mentioned softwares cannot be filed as a patent as per the Section 3 of the Indian Patent Act. Then how come did you file a patent application for a software program? The answer is one can simply combine the softwares plus hardware, make it an embedded system. And in India, if you have an embedded system which is consisting of softwares plus hardware, then you can file a patent for a software. And that's how we filed this. And this has been licensed. This has been granted as a patent as well. Another question that comes out from the inventor's side or from the startups, how much time required for grant of a patent? So normally it is 48 months. So let me tell all the startup founders, whenever you are filing a patent, do utilize forms like Form 9 and Form 18A. These two forms are privileged for startups and educational institutes only, wherein the publication, which is usually supposed to happen from by 18 months from the day of filing, you get the publication right size from 18 months to 1 month. Within 30 days after the day of filing, you will get your patent published. And similarly, the patent which is supposed to be examined within, by 48 months, you will get your patent examined by the 6th month from the day of filing. So it basically right sizes the time span and squeezes the time of grant of a patent. So please do use forms like Form 9 and Form 18A. These are the tools for expedited mode of patent application filing. And startups are privileged to use these forms as well. So we, our 80% to 85% of our patents are getting granted in less than 7 to 8 months of time, just by the use of these forms like Form 9 and Form 18. Another question comes from the startup founders is, sir, I have filed a patent in India. Can I file a patent in USA separately, or would Indian patent application meets my requirement of getting a protection in US as well? So the answer is one needs to file a patent application in different jurisdictions wherever he or she finds a prospective commercial scope. So why one should choose a patent in a different jurisdiction? The answer is, if you do see a prospective market in that jurisdiction, do file a patent application in that jurisdiction. If you do not file any commercial scope, it is irrelevant to file a patent application in that jurisdiction. How one can file? You have filed a complete patent application in India. You can file a foreign patent application within 12 months from the day of Indian patent application. That is option number 1. Startup founder feels that 12 months is not sufficient. The window may be expanded. So there is a time expansion tool called as PCT. So PCT is nothing but a time expansion tool wherein you pay extra fees to expand this deadline from 12 months to 31 months. Often people misinterpret PCT application as an international patent application filing. There is nothing called as international patent application filing. It's just expansion of time by paying some extra fee to the WIPO. So these are the routes through which one can file a foreign patent application and get protection in foreign jurisdictions. Just by filing a PCT, one will not get the protection in foreign jurisdiction. Within that time duration, one needs to cherry pick which jurisdiction he or she is interested for filing the patent application. If someone fails to file the patent in foreign jurisdiction within 31 months after filing the PCT, then there is no remedy to get the protection. Although one would continue to enjoy the rights of IPR or patent in Indian jurisdiction, but they would not get the same protection in foreign jurisdictions. I would skip this part of how to search a patent because time may not be sufficient today to completely carry out this exercise. But these are the databases one can certainly go through, and these are the freely available databases. Whenever one is skeptical whether to go ahead and file a patent or not, whether my invention is novel or not, one can simply go through internet and search and use few of the keywords out of your invention. Try to find it out whether your invention is novel or not. Try your hands, although professionals expertise in patent searching cannot be matched with a preliminary search or with these basic available patent search databases, but one can certainly get to know which are the similar patents available prior to your patent application in terms of patent applications or non-patent literature available prior to your patent application file. How one can do a patent search if one is unable to find it out the exact keyword? You need to write an abstract. Please divide that abstract into 3-4 segments. We call it as key features. Out of those key features, try to extract 3-4 keywords. Combine those keywords one after another and try to put these keywords in the database I have mentioned earlier, and you will get desired results. Keywords are the most solicited tool for doing a refined patent search. If the keywords are not relevant, then one would eventually end up in getting irrelevant results of the patent search. TRL level is another very important pertinent tool whenever a startup is ascending towards this stage or toward this phase of product. One needs to understand why TRL was invented, just to keep a track of time. If someone is doing a lot of fabrication, doing a lot of preparation in terms of their invention, and they are not keeping a track of time, it is possible that the moment the startup founder reaches out to the product phase, there is no more demand for such product, or more advanced products have already landed in the market. So always keep a track of your time while working on the ideas. For example, prototype development schemes, they are basically in the phases of TRL1 to TRL4. The timeline from the engineering side is supposed to be some around 8 months to 12 months. If someone is taking more than that, someone is compromising on the invention's possibility of seeing the light of the day as a product, because there is a life cycle or a life duration for a human. Similarly, a technology also has a life cycle. Rudimentary and obsolete technologies will not have any takers at all. So one needs to understand TRL1 is ideation, TRL4 is prototype in a layman language, and TRL9 is basically a product. So keeping the time in track mode while developing your invention, scaling up, validation, experimental stage. Time is the pertinent tool in reaching out to the product phase. I hope there are no more questions from the participant side. In case if there are questions, I would be
Yes,
happy to.
we have one question. So it is Deepen Modi. He's asking, do you also assess startups which are not from SIIC but working in IT Kanpur, scientists and using their labs to build a prototype?
Yes, we have been handholding startups. For example, faculty-led startups, we have been handholding. Student-led startups, we have been handholding. So the answer is yes, we are open in handholding you. If you have any associations with IIT Kanpur, we are happy to help you in getting the IPRs filed. And as we have outsourced our IPR filing work to impaneled agencies, so the rebates that the institute gets in terms of filing the IPR, you can also get the same rebates and same rate contract for getting your IPRs filed. So the answer is yes. I will move on to the next presentation page. Just to showcase and to share this as a matter of accomplishment, IIT Kanpur has filed 1200 plus patents so far, and our conversion rate or the translation rate is highest from any of the academic institutes. So we license somewhere around, I haven't updated this page. It's around 150 plus patents have been licensed to industry partners. So if you try to find it out, the exact conversion rate, it comes out to be around 13.78%, which is exceptional in nature from many academic institutes. So we have been commended at various forums nationally and internationally as well. And we reach out to industry partners with a main objective that is translational. Getting more licensing proceeds is not the objective. So I hope I answered all your queries. I am finishing my talk of the day. I request all the participants to do visit our website page, which is www.iitk.ac.in/IPR. You will get a extensive list of IPRs available for licensing. You can simply send an email to ipr@itk.ac.in, or my email ID is rpande. And in case if you need a license of the technology, you can simply send a request. Within a time span of 30 to 45 days, we will cater your request and try to provide you a license. I also request you to please do follow us on our social media handles, X, Facebook or LinkedIn. The handle page address is Tech Transfer at IITK. And the last message from my side is do some plantation. My question is, when was the last time I planted a tree? One should always ask. I'm a nature lover. I love planting trees. I have great affinity towards nature. So I ask this question. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Ravi. This is a very well explained presentation. And guys, anyone has any question? We'll give 5 minutes more to ourselves.
Ms.
Yeah, okay.
Sabapati wants to.
Yes, so sir, Mr. Savapati, you can please speak. You are in the panelist now.
Yes. Yes. I'm audible, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So I'm from Celigo. It's a startup incubated at IIT Kanpur. We have filed a patent 15 months back, and now recently I requested for a publication also. So now I am little bit concerned on the publication. So this publication, how much time it will be open for the public, and whether these publications will give leads to our competitor to make a another way of technology in the same line. So how we can protect in this time?
Okay. So Savapati, I am quite sure you have not filed Form 9, or else it would not have taken 15 months for your patent to get published. I'm assuming it would take another 3 months for your patent to get published in a normal circumstances. Had it been a case where you have filed Form 9, the same patent application would have published in a time span of 1 month. That is number one. Another part of your question is uh, when would your competitors would be able to imitate, or what would be the exact priority date from which you would get the protection? So I'm assuming that way. You get
Yes.
the protection of your patent from the day of filing. I hope you understand this answer. And the second
Yes, sir.
is, in case if you are asking for damage payments or compensation from the imitators, so damage payments are counted from the day of publication of your patent. So it is highly advisable to always file your patent applications in an expedited manner, because you're right sizing 18 months of your business. Basically, you file your patent today, you are selling your patents for next your products for next 18 months. In between this 18 months, if someone is infringing, imitating, or copying your patent, you may file an injunction and stop them from doing so, but you cannot ask for damage payments within this duration because your patent has not been published. For example, if I'm not aware that you already have a patent and the patent has not been published, the compensation or the monetary compensation or the damage payments cannot be solicited from my side. The only remedy for you is to get an injunction and ask the court to send me a notice, stop doing further practices in imitation or reverse engineering or selling my product. Sorry, selling your product. So it is highly advisable to use Form 9 and Form 18A while filing a patent application.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone else have any? Okay, Ravi, please, can you stop? Yeah, thank you. Yes, please, Sushil, ask your question.
Hi, good morning, sir. So we are at TRL 5 stage currently, and we have filed a patent 1 year back, and we are still expecting 6 more months to get the patent. Our technology solution is more for the industrial listing. So can we list it with the technology transfer team right now, or you will advise us to wait until we secure the patent?
Okay. Sushil, it is a very important question that you have asked, whether one needs to wait till the patent being granted, or you can go ahead with your invention immediately after filing the patent. So the answer is, you don't need to wait for the patent to get granted just to utilize it in the market. We commercialize, we license the technologies immediately after filing the patent. 95% of our patents were licensed to industry partners just after filing the patent. We never waited for them to get granted. And in your case as well, as you mentioned, it took 12 months or 14 months, and you have it seems that you also didn't file Form 9 and Form 18A. That's why it took this much amount of time. I hope I'm right.
I'll just look into it, sir, and thank you. I'll reach out to you separately.
Sure.
Any last set of questions anyone has? Okay, I think we're done. Thank you so much, Ravi, for this wonderful presentation and your valuable time for our startups and colleagues today. We have learned a lot of things from this session.
My privilege.
Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining. We will be back with another insightful session in a few days' time. Thank you for joining. Any issues, please write to us. We will be able to help your queries. Thank you, Ravi. Signing off.